Are we live? Hello, it is Elizabeth coming in here on Tasty Yes Tuesday. I'm going to do a quick tech check here. I think it's working. But if you are joining me here on the live, say hello. Let me know if you can see me. I'm always like, I don't know. I think I'm tuning in. I think I'm live. Let me know. Oh, okay. I see myself now. Okay. I'm always like, I don't know. Well, today is all about visioneering the next year. Folks, it is hard to believe, but we are 47 days away from 2021 being done. Who is ready for 2021 to be done? You know, I often think about this is like the time when I start to look at what have I accomplished in the past year and where I'm headed in 2022, in that new year, in that next year. And so as I start to think about what does success start to look like, I'm super excited. I'm really excited because every year in your business, you should be growing. I love it. I see a couple of folks here. So hello, say hi. Drop me some fire if you're here. So I see Ivana. Ivana says hello. If you can click on the link above, that would be great because then I can see you on here. Okay. So what are you really grateful for in 2021? What are you really grateful for in 2021? It's so hard to believe that we are wrapping up this year, right? It has been a crazy year. But I'm really excited because as much as I love planning my year, I rather prefer guardrails. I love guardrails because it allows me to stay laser focused, but I have enough wiggle room to stay creative, to tap into my intuition and really just let things happen. Sometimes it's as much about leaning out as it is about leaning in. But isn't like the hardest thing is to figure out which way do you go? Is it time to lean in? Is it time to lean out? Which way are we headed? Right? Hi, Lane. So good to see you. So, what are you most grateful for in 2021? And as you look ahead in 2022, what are you most looking forward to? I'm super excited because I just hired a new person to join my team. She is starting, and her background is in copywriting, and she's going to be my community growth platform expert. And it's amazing because when I think about where I was in 2020, looking at where I wanted to go and be in 2021, I feel like the plan and the goals I hit, but in many ways, it also exceeded my expectations. And I feel like that's the type of goal setting that you should experience. It's, the guardrails, it allows you to hit your goals, but also the freedom to just let what be and happen, right? It's that curiosity, it's that magic, right? So I want you to really be thinking about what that starts to look like. And so really focused on what does that look like for 2022. And that's why today I wanted to talk about visioneering your 2022 and making it happen. Okay. I often say that results happen in 3 ways. Okay. So write this down, grab a piece of paper, or, come back and catch this on the replay. First, your results happen in your heart. Do you have the desire and the commitment to say yes to yourself? Okay. And of course, people are like, well, yeah, Elizabeth, I want more money. I want more sales. Of course, it's there, right? But have you really said yes to the amount that you want in your life? I was just at Angela Moa's Abundance Wealth Challenge, and she was talking about manifestation, and she was talking about how oftentimes people say they want, let's say, $1,000 in sales today, and then tomorrow it's, $100,000 in sales, and how we're not really committed and consistent with the asset we want. And as I was preparing for today's teaching, I was taking that to heart because you see, results happen in 3 ways. The first one is in your heart. Have you said yes to what you want? Have you claimed the sales goals that you want? Okay. Oftentimes people will set a sales goal and it's like this. I'm going to be logical. I'm going to be practical. And I'm just going to say $10,000 this month. When deep down inside, they want $20,000 in sales. Okay. Because the logical part of them is saying, you know what? I might not hit $20,000. So let's play it safe and hit $10,000. And when it comes to keeping yourself motivated and committed to your vision, logic has nothing to do with that. Okay. Step 2, right? So the first one is in your heart. The second one is the results in your mind. Do you believe enough to learn and unlearn the knowledge and the limiting beliefs to get you there? Many times people think about goal setting and they start to think about the skills that they need, the how-tos that they need, and they know there's a little bit of mindset in there. But one of the things I've learned with every level of growth in my business, in myself, in my teams I've hired and built, and teams that I've put together pro bono with no money to pay them, but only inspiration and motivation and a common goal, is that when it comes to results in your mind, it's as much about learning as it is about unlearning. We've often hear that what got you here won't get you there. But what does that really mean? If I were to break it down, it's at the same time you're learning your next level of growth, and then you're having to unlearn what you've learned now to get to where you are today. And that is not easy. Oftentimes, those two paths may conflict, they bump into each other, right? And they leave you frustrated, overwhelmed, confused, exhausted at times. But I can promise you, if you stay committed to those results, at some point they magically collide. And that's what happens, right? It's what happens when all of a sudden it just happens. Like there's no logic, right? Every year, sometimes when people are thinking about goal setting, they'll say, I'm going to logically hit my goals by, maybe 2x or 3x, right? But the quantum leaps that I've had in my business has had nothing to do with logic of growing my sales business or my business with sales 3% every year over year growth. Like if you came from corporate, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's a very logical, very percent driven, math driven, analytical analysis of your sales growth, right? As an entrepreneur and small business owner, the sales in your growth aren't that logical. In fact, they're very illogical. Are you hearing me on this? They're so illogical because they are directly correlated to your own personal level of growth. It's directly related to your ability to make decisions quickly and execute, right? Because you are the cause. Money in sales is the effect. That's why I'm often teaching my clients that you are your number one investment. Because if you don't up-level your skill set, mindset, and people set, who you surround yourself with, how do you begin to realize the sales that you want in your business? I was talking to someone recently, and she has spent thousands of dollars credentialing herself, right? She went from an industry like in financial accounting to now the beauty industry. And don't get me wrong. I mean, you got to get some credentials and training, right? Because you're changing industry. And I'm sure there's some sort of licensing that you need to get, if you're going to be a cosmetologist or things like that. But she kept investing thousands and thousands of dollars to get her credentials and trainings being, specialized in with this product and that product and this product when she was struggling with sales consistently in her business. But yet she kept investing in getting more training and more credentials in being the expert. And I said to her, you're fixing the wrong problem. If you're not seeing sales in your business, you've got to invest in the areas that will drive your sales growth, your credibility, your credentials and training enough already. They're not going to sell themselves, right? But how often have you felt like, if I was just qualified enough, the sales will come? If I just had just maybe that one more credential so that I could be an even higher level of expert, the sales will come. It doesn't. Because if you're fixated on solving the wrong problems, you get the wrong results. If your problem is sales and you're fixated on more trainings, you're solving the wrong problem with the wrong solution. I'm not saying you don't need training to feel confident or competent or to be qualified, right? But that has everything to do with delivery and maybe even your competitive advantage or differentiation. But that alone doesn't cause sales to happen. You know what does? Marketing, being heard, being seen, elevating your message and talking to the right MVP customers, the right premium, most valuable paying customers. Okay. And then lastly, the third thing that results happen. And I promise I'm going to go into visioneering just a little bit here, because I just want you to realize how important these three things need to be aligned, is really your actions. So first we said your results happen in your heart. Are you committed and desire the results that you want? Are you truly committed to saying yes to it? Like really saying yes and claiming it. 2, the results happen in your mind. Do you believe it enough to learn and unlearn the beliefs and the knowledge that will get you there? And 3rd, action. Not waiting until you have all the answers, not waiting until you feel qualified, but literally being consistent with how you're showing up and yet overcoming other people's demands and expectations of you. If you are just living in this isolated world with no family obligation, no expectations from other people, right? It's a lonely path in entrepreneurship, but it might just be a little bit simpler to hit your goals. What gets complicated is when we have our friends and family, when we're surrounded by people that are truly designed to keep us safe, and they're truly invested in your wellness and well-being for the most part, right? They want you to not be so stressed. They want you to feel secure. And so they mean well by saying, are you sure you really want to make that risky business decision? You don't even know with full certainty what the outcome is going to be. They mean well. That's why your people set, when you're an entrepreneur, is just as important as your skill set and your mindset. Oftentimes, when we think about our vision and goal setting, we think about our goals that need to be done, right? The things that need to be done. And we might think about, our skill set, the how to get it done, and maybe our mindset. I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to show up. I just need to overcome this fear, right? But what you really need is to be able to align your heart, your mind, and your actions to the results that you want. Many times people are only focused on one of these aspects, one of these three things. They're either focused on, what is it that I want, right? The heart. Or, oh, it's my mindset, right? Or it's my behavior, my actions, which is often the skill set. But in order for you to truly realize the results that you want for yourself, your heart, your mind, and your actions have to be aligned. It is a non-negotiable. Okay. Once these things are aligned, okay, and I'm going to share with you some of the fun things that we have coming up as we wrap up 2021 and 2022. I'm going to be starting a fun book club inside of the Hybrid Community Facebook community. We're going to be starting that off in January, and I'm going to be doing a free gift bonus here in just a little bit. I'm going to be talking about that. The free bonus is for an upcoming retreat workshop that I have coming up in December, and I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. Okay. Because here's what I've learned about strategic planning, right? Is that you need to have guardrails. This is especially hard for my creative folks, right? They're like, Elizabeth, I don't even want to plan out more than 3 months ahead because it's really like, it just feels so rigid and it's such a masculine and energy, right? But oftentimes I think of it this way. I think of mapping out your strategic sales goals as anchors in your life for the next year. You know what I'm saying? It's like breaking down your why into anchors that are really like the guardrails that allow you to stay focused no matter what speed you're traveling, right? It's like the guardrails on a freeway there where there's the slow lane, the medium lane, and the fast lane. And whatever you feel like driving in your life and you need to slow down, you still got the guardrails. You feel like you want to lean in and go fast, you still got the guardrails. Those are anchors. And that's how I map out my vision and that's how I map out my goals because I believe you need guardrails. And this is one of the hardest things when it comes to intuitive people, creative people, and my spiritual people. And this is why they often love me because they're like, Elizabeth, you give me so much structure, but with creative freedom, right? And that's what you need. Sales, right, often comes from having anchors in place and knowing these anchors are bolted into your 2022, your next year, in a way that no matter what life throws at you and you need to slow down or go fast, you're still on track. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still on track to hitting those goals. Many years ago, I stopped doing New Year's resolution. I just do anchor words. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be covering a little bit in my upcoming strategic workshop is anchor words that allow me to be aligned across all my goals with all the different roles and hats that I wear. Okay. So in 2021, my anchor word was magic. And I'll show you what this starts to look like as we're talking about visioneering here. The magic showed up as a mom with my kids. The magic showed up in my interactions with my students, my clients, and my prospects and my audience. The magic showed up when I had fears and was overwhelmed and really felt like, what the heck am I doing? Have you ever had moments like that? This is the anchor word that allowed me to think about my goals and my vision and allowed me to be consistent, to be aligned, to be in harmony across all the many roles and hats that I wear. Are you hearing me on this? Are you seeing the power of this? So as I'm talking about visioneering and I'm talking about how results happen 3 times before it actually happens in your real life, this is what I'm talking about. Imagine if this is the level of planning that you and I can do together for your 2022. Imagine what that would do for your business, for your own growth in 2022. Let me just take a look here. I love this. Elaine says, this is awesome. Thank you for sharing it. Love it. She said, I am all the people you just said. Intuitive, creative, and spiritual. Wow, thank you. I love that. I love that. And I can tell you that even my analytical people love me because I give them enough guidance and then they can get very detailed with their spreadsheets. But just enough structure where I'll admit most creative, intuitive, and spiritual people get a little frustrated, but they appreciate the intent behind it, right? And I think that's what you got to have. You just got to have guardrails. And I think of it like on a freeway with 3 lanes that you can go at whatever speed you have. And I've just found that that works for me because here's the thing. I actually really love surprises. And it just delights me when I, hit goals that over exceed my expectations. And it's surprise, not all surprises are positive. I've had, quite a few setbacks that are very disappointing, but it's surprises by by definition, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, let's dive into what that looks like. And I'm going to share my screen here because I want you to think about what your vision is. And however you want to tackle your vision, whether you're a person that journals, a person does vision boarding, I don't really care how you express yourself. Whatever works for you works for you. This is where I'm going in with the guardrails, right? Like I provide the guardrails. You get to create whatever it is that you want to create. We're in co-creation mode here. Okay. And I do have an upcoming workshop called 2022 Strategic Sales Goal Retreat that's happening in December that I want you to be a part of. So if you're loving this, we're going to go even deeper inside of that retreat workshop. Why am I calling it a retreat? Because I want it to be a retreat. I think that goal setting should be fun and it should feel like it's a timeout for yourself. That's how I want it to feel. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2022. If you want the workshop link now, just type workshop into the comments and then my team will pull that up. But we got some fun things happening. So let's dive into the teaching today. Okay. So how do you begin to make it happen? Everything that you have learned probably in corporate or probably in school and education, right, has really been really boring in my opinion, because it's been really tailored more to the masculine energy, the logical, analytical side. And though there's nothing wrong with that, because I believe each of us need to actually embrace both feminine and masculine energy, it's not as inspirational. I don't think it works quite as well as an entrepreneur, because oftentimes, let's keep it real, there's just going to be days where you're just not going to feel like it. And you really need to have goals that like get you out of bed. Do you know what I mean? And so that's really something that I want you to think about as we're thinking about visioneering and making it happen. Okay. So the first step I've said to you is to declare and claim what you want. Say yes to the goals that you want, right? That's what we need to do. Your heart, right? We need to say yes in your heart. What is it that you desire? What is it that you are claiming? What is it that you are saying yes to so that you can be 100% committed, right? That's a no-brainer, right? And then we got to get clear on your mind. Are you willing to believe in it enough to learn and unlearn what you need, your beliefs, your knowledge to achieve those goals? And then lastly, it's the action plan, right? And having those anchors in place as guardrails so that no matter what life throws at you, your main focus is how do I overcome what life's throwing at me, whether it's other people's expectations and obligations and demands of you, whether good, bad, or indifferent. You need guardrails to be able to go at a slow pace or a fast pace. But you know what? You're still going to hit it. That's what I love about this method. Okay. And in the retreat in December, we're going to go down and break this down even more so. But because I want you to start thinking about 2022, that's why I'm talking about visioneering. Okay. So when I think about visioneering, I want you to think of it as whatever that is for you. Again, journaling, right? Or vision board. I want you to think of this as a checklist to ask yourself. Okay. So this is a nice acronym, I think, for you to think about. I'm a very framework person, if you have no, it comes from my consulting days. All right. So who is ready for this? If you are ready, type ready into the comments so that we can start to visioneer about making it happen. Type ready into the comments. The first thing we want to think about when it comes to your vision for the goals that you want to achieve for yourself is we got to make sure it's values based. Okay. I know you're probably like, well, duh, Elizabeth, right? Oops. What did I just do? But you want to make sure that it's really based on your values. Okay. What does that mean? I'll give you one of my examples. Okay. You know, when I first started my business, especially when I started to pivot online, there was all this rage about the sexiness of selling courses online. Okay. So, you know, create that course and just sell it, right? And you can make money while you sleep. And it was a very appealing ask. And again, you know, there's nothing wrong with the strategy. There's every strategy out in the marketplace works based on whoever's in the driver's seat, right? But for the longest time, I kept procrastinating with this strategy. I couldn't finish my course. I kept changing my mind on the course. And I kept thinking to myself, why am I hesitating so much? Why am I procrastinating? And like many of you, right? I probably went through this, oh, I don't feel worthy. Oh, it must be fear of success, fear of failure. I explored all of those things. Okay. And then it finally occurred to me that this strategy of selling courses did not align to my values. 93% of people who buy courses never finish their course. That did not sit well with me. Some people, it's cool. It's like, hey, it's on you. You bought the course, you finish it. It's on you, right? But for me, it just didn't align. I just felt like I personally could not take people's money and was like, okay, it's on you. Because here's the thing, if people could do it, wouldn't they have done it already? What they really needed was support and accountability to stay inspired, to stay focused, to stay doing, right? I'm such a results oriented person. And when that value aha moment came to me, I was like, I can't sell courses. That can't be my core offer that I go into the marketplace with. I got to go in with something else that is going to support my ideal MVP customers, my ideal customers to achieve their results fastest, right? And so then that strategy of growing my income, my sales with courses, right? That vision changed. And then now my strategy changed. And because my strategy changed, my vision changed. Or maybe it's the other way. My vision changed from that aha moment for that strategy. And then therefore my strategy changed, right? That's an example of sometimes when you're stuck in procrastination mode or you think it's fear, you keep coming back to it. But you got to look at the vision that you want for yourself and maybe the strategy and ask yourself, are my values in conflict here? Are my values in conflict here? You don't need to feel bad about procrastinating or hesitating. Sometimes it's fear. Don't get me wrong. I've had that. But oftentimes it's because there's a conflict of values somewhere and you just haven't quite pinpointed it. And so therefore it's going to show up like you're procrastinating, you're hesitating, you're doubting yourself, and all of those icky negative feelings, when in fact it's just simply a values conflict. Okay? Are you following me on this? Okay, so V is for vision. Type that into the comments. V equals values. Okay? V equals values. Help out some of our other viewers here. V equals values. Type that into the comments. Okay? The second thing that I want you to think about with your vision for the goals that you want for yourself is it illogical? Type that into the comments. I equals illogical. It's got to be so damn illogical. It doesn't even freaking make sense. Why? Because if it's too logical, it's too small for you. You see, if it's too logical, I want you to think about this. If it's too logical, it's too small for you because you're making decisions from where you're at, right? You only have a limited view of who you are now, of where your sales are at in your business. What do I mean by that? If you're making $10,000 a month in your business, your experience, your lens, your background, your perception, everything that you know is what leads to $10,000 months. And when your vision for your goals are logical, you're saying you want to hit $20,000 months. but your vision and your goals are logical. It's only in that container of the $10,000 sales wins. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you've never achieved $20,000 months. It seems like such a far stretch. It seems like impossible until it's done. And it seems very like a dream. You haven't even been to that side. Once you get to that side, what seemed like impossible and illogical is now possible and damn well logical for you. Are you hearing me on this? If you are, type yes in the comments, because that's why your vision has to be illogical, because you're making decisions based on who you are now, and the decisions you're making based on who you are now is what keeps you where you're at now. But when it's illogical, it's going to scare the shit out of you and stretch you into new beings and new ways that you've never even thought was before. And that's going to allow you to make decisions not from who and where you're at now, but who and where you want to be. This is what I call you 1.0 versus you 2.0. When you're making decisions that are logical, it's based on the you 1.0 of who you are and where you're at now in your business. That's why it needs to be so damn illogical that you're making decisions of who and where you want to be, you 2.0. Right? Because when you're making decisions from that illogical perspective, that gives you room to grow into. That gives you room to stretch and be nervous and be stressed, but also excited that you're going to be able to get to the 2.0 you. Okay? S, type that into the comments. S is for specific, which is really about noticeable. Can I spot it? People will say, I want sales, $10,000 months. And I'm like, okay, how are you going to, let's break it down. How many units do you need to sell? I don't know. So how many, you can't even spot it. You don't even notice how many units you need to sell to hit $10,000 months. You want $20,000 months? Okay. So how many units do you need to sell? I don't know. Well, if you don't know, you can't notice it. You can't be specific. I can't even coach you on it, right? Like we can't even devise a strategy because you don't even know how many units you need to sell, for example. So you need to be specific and it's got to be noticeable. Okay, so S equals specific. Type that into the comments for our fellow community members, okay? Inspiration. Inspirational. It's got to be in spirit with you. You know, you probably heard of SMART goals. I get it, but they're damn boring. I don't want to wake up to a SMART goal every day. I want to wake up to one that freaking inspires me, right? I want to wake up and say, I'm going to serve 1,000 diverse entrepreneurs because I am committed to representation that matters, whether you're man, women, women of color, people of color, whatever ism that is keeping you playing small, whether it's ageism, racism, biasism, sexism, right? It's really about being the people of other. I want you heard, seen, and paid well because representation matters to me, right? When I can help a yoga coach charge 5 times more in her business, get heard, seen, and paid well so that she can grow her business, and she's making more money than any other yoga teacher that's in her community because they're still playing small. And they're like, damn, I can't believe you charge that much. And customers are buying. And she's like, yeah, not only has she raised the bar for herself, she not only has broken the glass ceiling for herself, but she has now broken the glass ceiling for every single Asian woman who wants to do yoga coaching. She has now raised the bar. right? That's what inspires me, right? Or if I'm working with, a man and, he's very passionate about helping other young professionals who might be immigrants or refugees with an accent, learning English, be more confident. And if I'm helping him get heard, seen, and paid well, and his business is growing, and he's heard and seen, he inspires other people that if he can do it with the stutter, so can I. That's the vision that I have when I set my goals. That's what wakes me up and inspires me. That's what makes me feel like I'm in spirit to my calling, right? That's why there's no apologetic pricing here with me. I don't apologize for pricing because that's what I'm committed to. So ask yourself, is it inspirational and in spirit that's going to get you out of bed when there are those days that you just don't feel like it? Okay? I for inspirational, okay? O, obsessive. Oh my gosh. I love shoes, okay? Like, give me anything in a mall or a store and I will obsess about shoes, okay? You need to think about your services and your products and your goals as something you can obsess about. One of the things I tell my customers and clients all the time is when you identify your ideal MVP, your ideal most valuable paying customer, this is not always the people that has the most money to pay you. It's also the people that you feel like are the high quality customers that you want to serve and spend time with. You've got to be obsessed about solving their problems. I'm obsessed about helping entrepreneurs grow and hit their sales goals fastest online. I obsess about that. And what does that start to look like? It starts to look like me hiring a copywriter and thinking about done for you packages for my community. What does that obsession start to look like? Okay, I'll give you one example. Just this year, I threw in my all-in-one software, right? For all of the students who joined my inside the Customer Yes Lab because of this reason. I would have a client that I'm coaching and I would say, okay, tell me who are the top 5 hot leads that you have so we can devise a strategy on how to close those deals, right? And then she would say, I don't know. Because I have data that was in this email tool, and then I have data on my Facebook group, and then I got data on my Facebook personal page, and then I got data from my course portal, and then I got data from my, appointment scheduling tool. And she had data that was like in all of these like 5-7 different tools that she needed to go and like analyze and pull together and figure out, did Elizabeth Yang come through my email system? Did Elizabeth Yang come to my Facebook group? Did Elizabeth Yang show up and schedule an appointment with me? And then she could come back and tell me these are my 5 hottest leads, which meant I couldn't even coach her until she knew who her 5 hottest leads were. So what did I do? I said, oh my God, this is taking too long. If it's going to take her 2 weeks, a month to analyze the data to find her 5 hottest leads so that I can then start to coach her on how to do the follow-up and close the deals, what can I do to remove that barrier for her? And I found an all-in-one software solution that in one centralized hub, you have your appointment scheduling, your landing pages, your social media data, your website, your course portal, all in one. So now you can just literally go to one dashboard, look up Elizabeth Yang and be like, oh, is she in any of those other tools? Does she engage with me on Facebook? Does she engage with me on my email? Does she engage with me by scheduling an appointment? Does she even finish the course module that, I gave her access to? And if the answer is yes, Elizabeth Yang is one of my hottest leads. One system, 10 minutes. Now I can coach her. That's the type of obsession your vision has to have, where you're like, how can I obsess about solving this problem for my customers that I'm going to remove the barriers that will prevent them from hitting their success? That type of obsession is what your customers will pay a whole lot of money for. It's not just adding zeros to your price point. Okay? That's really the key. Are you hearing me on that? Let's see here. Sorry, hold on. And then I've already mentioned this, but it's even worth mentioning again, is that is it noticeable? Clearly, these go hand in hand. Can you measure it? Is it so noticeable that you can tie it back to your values? When your vision for your goals hit each of these, you're in alignment with the results in your heart, the results in your mind, and the results that come from the actions that you take. When I shared with you earlier that my vision for really the Sell with the Force was in alignment, and I started to shift and realize my vision was greater than that strategy, what I implemented was then at the time one-on-one coaching, and I just started coaching, right? And the results happened more quickly to me because I all of a sudden realized I wasn't hesitating and I wasn't procrastinating. And guess what? The results were more noticeable and the values were more noticeable. Here, I was in alignment with my values. Here, my customers were experiencing my values. I was a value add. If you came to my masterclass, you know that I often teach about how when you're charging premium, your customers, your audience needs to feel like traction from you, not transaction. Traction means you're a value add into their life and they can't live without you. That's what they're willing to pay for. That's what I'm talking about here, right? And so with that, that's really when you can start to see, like, this is what it takes to make my vision happen. So whether you're journaling or you're doing a vision board, right, is to give yourself this gut check and say, is it values-based? Is it illogical? Is it specific? Is it inspirational in spirit to where I'm at, right? Is it obsessive? Do I obsess over this? And is it noticeable enough where I can physically, with my two eyes, hear it, see it, smell it, whatever that is for you, right? Because when you hit this off your checklist, right, this is the type of vision that will fuel you when there are those days that you just don't feel like it, okay? So what are some ways that you can start to really get into this, okay? Well, as I mentioned, I'm going to be hosting my 2022, right? New year, new you, new sales, right? Implementation workshop that's going to be coming up pretty quickly, December 9th and 10th at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Time. It is a live event. You'll get the recordings, okay? And what you get, right, is you're going to be able to spend, right, 2 days with me, 2 hours each, and we're going to get a lot of things done, okay? You're going to get my ultimate productivity workbook so that you can start to prep for this in advance. If you would like, you can also do the strengths and sales assessment, and we can do our coaching call before the workshop. And this is like one of my personal favorites, and I know so many of my clients love it because it allows them to activate and see the strengths that they have when it comes to sales so that they can map their goals around it. Then when you come to day one, we are going to be producing. And so I talked to you about Visioneering, the vision acronym framework. We're going to go even deeper. And I'm going to teach what I call my GPS method, which is around growth goals, profit goals, and social impact goals. I hope you can see where the Visioneering exercise I just gave you starts to line up to creating a GPS goal action plan. And then you're also going to get a personalized action plan that based on 4 levels that are based on the stage of your business. You know, I'm a really big believer that you can be as busy as you want, but if you're working on the wrong thing and the wrong priorities, you're going to get the wrong results. Because as an entrepreneur, our to-do list is endless, right? But the key is to make sure that you are working on the right thing at the right time, just in time in your business to quickly hit your sales goals so you can move on to the next thing. And then day 2 is really about going through your action plan. You get a results coaching in a hot seat with me, where we're going to literally go through your key activities, your action plan, and I'm going to help you make adjustments. I'm going to help understand what you're trying to accomplish and really help you think about that vision based on what we talked about, right? And so for the first 20 people that sign up, I'm really excited because one of the things that we are going to be doing, let me just figure out how to share this, is that in January, we're going to be doing a book club that is going to be based off of this. And for the first 20 people that sign up, you're going to get the ebook version of life coaching, 10 minutes a day to transform your life and work. And this is going to be such a fun thing for us to do inside of our community, in the Hybrid CEO community. And for the first 20 people that sign up for the Sales Goal Retreat, you're going to get this free gift gifted from me to start. And just 10 minutes a day, you're going to coach yourself, right, to begin to really look at your life and your business in alignment. And then the fun thing is the ebook club is going to happen inside of the Hybrid CEO. So what we're going to do is we're going to have conversation threads around each of these chapters, right? So it's about it's a 10-minute a day. So it's a really quick, easy, fun read, right? So I think that's going to be really fun to really work through even deeper your own vision, right? You're going to be able to work through you're going to work through not only your goals and your vision, but you're really going to create that action plan. And then you're going to get all these additional perks that are going to keep you accountable to helping you create a magical 2022 in the new year, new you, new sales. Right? And so we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So even though the workshop retreat is only for 2 days, literally 2 hours per day, and you get the recordings to keep, and you get my workbooks, right, and my action guide so that you're staying organized and focused. And with me by your side, I will be that guardrail to make sure that, I'm helping you understand really the guardrails that you need to set based on your vision for your business. I'm co-creating alongside with you. That's really the key here. And then we're going to kick off the 10 minutes of coaching for your life and business ebook club inside of our Facebook group starting in January. And then you're going to get your free copy and you can be a part of that too. And just 10 minutes a day, you're focused on coaching yourself. I think that every day should be like that. If you're not doing that, you should definitely be doing that. Okay. So my team has already dropped the link. I'm going to have them drop the link again into the chat here. And Katie or Katrina and Ayana is going to drop that here for you. And you're going to get a chance to just check it out and reach out if you have any questions. You can send a note or send Katarina a DM, or you can DM me with any questions that you have. So how fun is that? I've always wanted to do a book club, and I just haven't been able to. One, I don't have a lot of time, but two, I wanted to be able to do it as part of a community. And now we get to have an ebook club community to be able to do this. I think that's a lot of fun, right? And so just 10 minutes a day, we're doing that together. We're reading, we're doing the exercises, we're having those conversations, we're holding each other accountable for visioneering, not only the action plan, right? In just 4 hours in December, your 2022 goals are mapped out with guardrails, right? And then starting in January, you're going to be doing your own self-coaching through my gift to you as part of this 10-minute a day of coaching book. And, you can move faster if you want, right? But at the same time, it's going to allow us to be a part of this, okay? And really grow together with coaching ourselves through this. And I'm going to do it too. I love this book. And I just love revisiting it every so often. And what a great way to start the year, just revisiting again your own personal life and business goals, as well as your own personal life and business growth, right? So That's what I'm going to leave you with, is as we have 46 more days left before 2021 is done. Have you reflected on your 2021? What are you most grateful for? Not in terms of just family and friends, but really your own personal growth, right? I often say that results happen in the doing and growth happens in the reflection. You've got to slow down to look at what you've accomplished, what worked well for you, what did not work well, so that you can do it even better, because you've already invested so much time in doing and trying to create those results. It is only through that reflection that you start to see your own growth. Oftentimes, when I'm coaching my clients, if they're only focused on sales, I remind them sales is the effect, it's the aftermath. You are the cause. And if you are the cause, you have to look at your own growth, whether it's in mindset, whether it's in skill set, whether it's in people set of who you're surrounding yourself with first. When you start to look at those three areas and think about the goals that are in alignment to your heart, your mind, and your action, then sales follows. That's the part that a lot of gurus don't tell you about. You know, it's like you can make so much money selling courses in your sleep, but if it's in conflict with your values, you're not going to get that done, you know? So take that moment to reflect on 2021. Join me inside of the Strategic Sales Goal Retreat Workshop, and let's make 2022 your best year ever. All right, same place, same time next week. I'm out.